Hello and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the PT18 Pro Oathkeeper. This is an 18650 light, or it's powered by two CR1238 batteries. It has a working voltage of 2.8 to 6 volts. It's got a magnetic charging port and a power level indicator. It's got a regulated power supply, so it maintains a constant brightness. It's got overcharge, over discharge, overheat, and reverse polarity protection. It's made out of aircraft grade aluminum with a type 3 hard anodized coating. It's got a beam distance of 360 meters, and it's got a intensity of 32,000 candela. Impact resistance can be 1 meter. IP68 waterproof and dustproof rating, and the dimensions are going to be 164 millimeters in length by 25.4 millimeters for the body diameter and 41 millimeters for the head diameter. Net weight is going to be 170 grams or 6 ounces without the battery inside. Here we can see we have the box that the flashlight comes in. We have the light itself here. We have the lanyard, the O-rings, the proprietary charging cable system that it comes with, and it also includes the 18650 battery, which is inside the light itself, plus the manual that you see here on the table. Let's go over some of the modes and the run times. So we're looking at several different modes. We start with SOS, which is about 60 lumens, and doesn't list an approximate runtime on that. Then we have a strobe mode for about 2,000 lumens, in which we don't get an approximate runtime on that either. And then we have a low mode for about 10 lumens for 1,870 minutes of runtime approximately. And then we have a middle mode, which is 60 lumens for about 930 minutes. Then we have a high mode for 450 lumens for approximately 150 minutes. And then we finally have turbo mode for 2000 lumens for about 1 minute before it steps down to an undisclosed amount of lumen output for 90 minutes. Here we can see the PT18 close up. We have a side switch for activating the light. We have a finger ring, a tactical hold on the end over here on the barrel. And we also have a pocket clip or a strap clip here. And then we have the charging port. We also have the two boot switches at the rear here, a primary one and a secondary one. And then we have the Cree XHP35 LED inside with a smooth reflector and a glass lens that's apparently AR coated or anti-reflective coated. We have the crenulations on the front here. We have some texturing on the head here, which is nice for grip. And finally, we'll go over the modes here on the light briefly. To access the main mode, which is turbo mode here, click the rear switch once and it goes on to main mode immediately. Click, it goes off. Half press to do momentary on, momentary off, or just momentary on. To access the modes while in the rear switch here, you simply push the secondary rubber boot and it'll switch the modes and cycle through from low, medium, high, and turbo. If you hold down, it goes into strobe mode. Press once to get out, and then push the main switch to get off and turn off the switch here. If you hold down the secondary switch, it'll go into a strobe mode here from the rear. Pretty useful to have a mode changing and immediate strobe access and high turbo access from the rear here. This does not tail stand, unfortunately. Also in the rear, we do have a lanyard hole for the lanyard included with the light. Now, to access the light from the front portion, you can simply push the side switch and it'll turn on. And it goes into low mode. And you can cycle through. Press and hold to turn off. If you turn it on and you double click, it'll do strobe mode, double click, and it'll do SOS mode. Press once to turn off or cycle out of the SOS mode, and then press and hold to turn off. To lock this out, you push 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and it'll blink twice. If you push the side switch only, it won't turn on. So it is locked out. The rear switches can always be turned on and off. You can't lock them out. This does have a battery level indicator on it. So if it's green, it's anywhere from 100% to 70%, and that means if it's constantly on. If it's about orange, you're looking at 70% to 30% range, and if it's constantly red, it's about 30 to 10%, and if it's flashing, it's going to be less than 10%. So I like that battery indication light on the front here. Pretty useful. Here we can see the charging cable of the PT18 plugged into the charging port of the PT18. We have a blue LED on the cable to show that it's active and taking a charge, and we also have a volt indicator here, 4.65 volts with a current draw of 0.51 or 52 amps. Okay, we're shooting in Aperture 3.5, 24 frames per second. ISO is 2500 on a Panasonic GH2 with a temperature balance of 5000 K. Here we have the light on low mode. You can see that in my hand there. And we can kind of see a nice throw out. In the far distance there's a bucket you can kind of see lit up there. Let's go to medium mode. You see a little bit more. The bucket's about 20 feet out, 22 feet out. And we got the woods behind it about another 30 feet. And there's the roaring brook next to it with all the noise. And we can see the side of the house here. That's on medium. Let's go to high mode. So a lot more gets lit up here. We got a nice tight hot spot. And high mode here. The PT18 Oathkeeper is a fantastic light with the amount of options that you get with it, namely the 3 different switches to activate the light on, the power LED indicator for the light status. The Cree XP-H35 is a decent LED with a smooth reflector inside, so it has a decent amount of throw. I like the texturing on the front here and the crenulations on the front. It comes with a pocket clip, which is nothing to write home about, but it still comes with that option on it. We have a charging port that's proprietary, unfortunately, but it does work effectively, so that is a positive, and they do include the cable that goes with it, so you can charge the included 18650 battery inside. It also uses 2 CR1238 batteries, which is a plus. The item also comes with the finger ring and the tactical hold, which is a bonus. You can take this off if you don't want to use it, and it has 2 access points for the main operations in the rear, and these 2 rubberized boots. I think that's one of the biggest positives about this light, is that you can access everything from the rear here via these 2 switch, with the exception of SOS mode, and I think that's tactically sound in my opinion. I'm not a tactical person, but if I were to be in a stressful situation, I'd want to have access to everything on the rear tail switch area. And these boots are exposed enough so that I could probably feel it with my gloves on if I was operating with gloves, which is a bonus. It does come with the included lanyard, and as we mentioned before, the included charging cable, which makes this a very convenient light to use. I like the design of it, the look of it, and the form factor. Some negatives about it is just that it uses a magnetism-based charging system, which can interfere with my compass system, so that's a negative for me. The other negative is the pocket clip could have been improved a little bit if they wanted to include a pocket clip, which they probably could have foregone on this, but it's a typical standard accessory in most flashlights nowadays, so I can't fault them for that. And personally, as a preference, it's not really negative. I would like to see a metal boot switch in the back here instead of a rubberized one, but I understand why they did rubber. It's because it's texture based and you can feel it with the glove on. Overall, the light is a good light to buy, and I do recommend looking into it if you're looking for a pretty high quality tactical light. And that's all I have to say about the PT18 Pro Oathkeeper. Thanks for watching, guys.